I love being in other places, trying new things, new adventures. I'm all in for that. But it doesn't mean that saying goodbye to the people you love gets easier. No, actually, I think every time it gets harder. Hey guys, and welcome back to this new episode of Complexity of Contrast. As you might have noticed, I am not in my bedroom, and that is really crazy because if you have been watching or listening to me, then you might know that I always record in the same spot, just yeah, by the window, just chilling, being in my own habitat. No, today we are somewhere else, and actually, for the coming months, I will be here. So we're gonna see how it goes because right now I'm in Germany. I'm here for a new job. That also means that I really debated on should I keep going with the podcast because I love it so much. Yeah, I just want to share my stories, and especially when I'm abroad and when I'm meeting new people, I feel like I come to so many different insights and new realizations. So I'm like, I want to share that, I want to incorporate it, also to show myself in a way what I'm capable of, and that you do not have to neglect your creative work or processes when real life hits. I mean, to me, that has truly been a thing for the longest time. That every time I was free, I would journal a lot and just draw and do all my creative thingies. And then when literally I needed to start working or when traveling or whatever, I would get so focused, especially with school as well. Like, I need to have focus on this and do this great and blah, blah, blah. This is more important, you know. But I think this is as important as the job I'm gonna start. So, yeah. Now I introduce all of this and the new setting, but I haven't told you what the episode is gonna be about. So, this episode is gonna be about saying goodbye and actually the power of it, but also the heaviness that comes with it. Yesterday, I left home and I was in the process of saying goodbye to everyone and just packing all my stuff. And I was like, oh my god, I can't handle this. Somehow, I felt so overwhelmed, so emotional. And that's really funny because I think a lot of people tend to believe that I do not stress out about these things. Like, I travel quite a lot. I love being in other places, trying new things, new adventures. I'm all in for that. But it doesn't mean that saying goodbye to the people you love gets easier. No, actually, I think every time it gets harder because you realize more and more that you will miss out on their lives and in general on so many beautiful things that we often take for granted. I mean, literally every time that I come back home from traveling or work, then I'm like, wow, all the little things that I didn't know I appreciated that much are now so incredibly special. For example, sitting at a dinner table, laughing at a joke, or just just walking around with the whole family. Those things are so beautiful, and so often we just take them for granted. And I think that is such a shame. And the older I get, the more I realize, yeah, we do have limited time. I'm probably the hundredth person that is going to tell you this. But yeah, it makes it really hard because sometimes when you decide to leave or to go away for a couple of months or years even, then you're taking the decision to also kind of leave their lives, at least not mentally, because I think we will always be there, but in a way we leave them physically, and that means that we might not notice what is actually changing in their lives, that they are getting older, especially, for example, with my parents. It is insane that every time I come back, I'm like, wow, it kind of feels like nothing has changed, but I do see things have changed. And the same for the city itself. So, wow, literally, what can change in a month? That is insane. But the whole point of this episode was actually to tell you that saying goodbye is so incredibly beautiful and so powerful as well. I think we often do not want to stand still enough to say a good goodbye. And I think sometimes we see saying goodbye as something permanent, but I think that is just stupid. I mean, how many times have you heard stories about people that are really, really sick and they know they cannot get better, and that the only thing they actually want is for the people around them right now to tell them how much they are loved instead of when they are already on their deathbed, you know? And that is kind of the same thing with saying goodbyes in general. And now some people may think that I make this really intense and heavy, but when I said goodbye to my friends that are leaving and just to my parents and knowing what they're gonna do and my brother as well and just the people around me, you know. Yes, it was difficult because it truly felt like a goodbye. We were all like, wait, why does this actually feel like a goodbye? But it is a goodbye, but also a see you later, you know? And I think we tend to only say or take that moment of, okay, now I'm gonna leave, or we're not gonna see each other for quite a time. I think we do not take those moments enough. Because, yes, it is really difficult, it is really heavy, and I get it that we all just want a light life, you know? Why make it more difficult than it is? Why make it more heavy than it has to be? But in these moments, I realize how much I care about the lives of others and how much others care about my life. And it's not just, oh, yeah, bye, I'm gonna leave for 2 months, and yeah, by the way, we can text or something, ciao. No, in those moments, when we are truly aware of the situation and truly acknowledge that we will miss each other, I think that is something that we try to hide. At least I do. I truly try to hide that I will miss others. And I don't exactly know where it comes from, but yeah, maybe because I want to be seen as independent and that I can do everything on my own. But the more I travel and the more I am confronted with this feeling, the more I realize that yes, it is good and you know you can be on your own, but still you can miss people. Those two things are not something that cannot correlate. They are actually so so normal, and it is actually good to admit that you miss people and that you will text them, because how many times did I not decide to text somebody just because I was like, oh, but how are they gonna perceive me? Maybe they are panicked or they're worried about me when I share, yeah, feelings of, oh, I miss home, or oh, I just do not know what I'm doing here. But I think it is so incredibly valuable to share that and to take a moment of truly reflecting what the year was or the months were like that you were all together and that you did the most amazing stuff. And then also be ready to say, hey, you know what? I love that time and I will support you every step you go, even though I might not be there with you in the exact moment. And I'm just really grateful that we're friends, that we're family, that we are acquaintances. Because you never know when your goodbye is gonna be the last one. Let's be honest. I think that is something I do not want to look at. That, for example, right now, I think this has been the hardest goodbye so far, even though this is not even my longest trip. This is the most close trip I have ever taken. But still, I feel like it was so hard to say goodbye because your parents are getting older, and not that something is going to happen per se, and it's also not a guarantee that if I will stay home, that something will not happen. But sometimes it's really difficult that if you decide to leave home or your close environment, you never know if that is the last time you will see them, even though you say you will stay in contact, etc. So I think we should make the best out of every time we are going to say goodbye. Because I think looking back at when I went to South Africa, and that was my first ever big travel to somewhere, actually my biggest travel ever. um, I remember that it was so it was all so low key. It was just, yes, guys, I'm going to the other side of the world. Ah, la, la, la. Bye. I threw a party like, okay, say goodbye. And although that might have worked in that moment, I think I'm really glad that I now learn how to say goodbye and appreciate it more and more, to take that moment to be with people I love, and yeah, truly share our vulnerability but also honesty in that moment. Because it's okay to admit that you're gonna miss people, that you feel sad or lonely when you're abroad or when you're not in your close environment. So, yeah, that is actually what I wanted to say. It is not a structured episode, it was just a brain dump that I really want to share. And yeah, I still hope you enjoyed listening to it. And we're gonna see where this whole adventure is gonna bring us. I feel really grateful that I get to be here and that I got to say goodbye to so many lovely people because, as Winnie the Pooh said, how beautiful is it to have people that make saying goodbye so difficult? I think it was something like this, and I know it's sad so often, but that is something that truly, yeah, fascinates me. Like, wow, the fact that I get emotional right now says something about the people around me and how genuine and beautiful they all are. And I feel just really lucky to have all those people in my life and the opportunity to. I don't want to say that saying goodbye is like closing. Like, I don't think it's a closure. I think it's more of closing a chapter, but it doesn't mean that those people and that place that you might leave will not still be there in the next one. But it's good to take a moment to reflect and to talk about it and what is coming. So, yeah. Yeah. Okay, guys, that was it. Truly, thank you so much for listening. And know that if it's hard for you to say goodbye, and if you're thinking about, should I even leave? Should I even go? What if something happens and I'm not there? You know what? It is still your life. And my mom always says to me that right now that you're young and you are healthy and you want to do this and you have the opportunity to, why not go for it? Because you will never regret doing something that you deep down always wanted to do, even if it works out differently than you ever expected. So, yeah, I hope you got something out of it. And if not, then I hope you took a moment to relax or to think about in what chapter you are right now and how that looks for you. Is it a closing chapter? Are you starting somewhere? Are you in the middle of everything and you're in pure chaos? Then that's also okay. Know that. And thank you guys a lot for being here, for listening, and I hope to see you next time. Okay, bye bye. Bye.